And so from the self-described least sexual person in the world to possibly the most sexual person in the world, we are going to have the memoirs of Victorian gentleman Sir Horatio St John Jingo. Yeah.
Skinny undertaker with the tiny head doing on my stage. What is this? Anyone?
Thanks. An anachronism.
Anachronism. Can somebody adjust the anachronism for me? I don't fully understand it. Yes, I don't think it'll be necessary either. Right. Excellent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you may be familiar with me and my work. My name, ladies and gentlemen, is Sir Horatio St John Jingo. Gentleman explorer, man of the empire, collector of curiosities, big game hunter, diplomat, lover, fighter, lover again, lover a third time, lover a fourth time, just keep loving. Well, I'm not too fussy. The only man ever to be given a Victorian Cross for priapism, defender of the greatest empire the world has ever known, the British Empire, an empire on which the sun would never dare to set. I am Jingo, ladies and gentlemen. Hear me shitting roar! Neat whiskey, ladies and gentlemen. I like my whiskey like I like my women. Body temperature. Now this, I believe, is the launch party. That was deliberate. Of the Whippersnapper press, who are shortly to be publishing my memoirs. Now, my memoirs range over far topics, distant things, and it's available only in hardback for those of you who appreciate the saucier sections. However, it is very much a work in progress. This is the first time that I would have performed any scripted piece ever. So we'll see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. I shall begin at the beginning. Excerpts from the memoirs of Sir Horatio St John Jingo. Prologue. My conception. My father, Sir John Jingo, was a man of many means. He was a man of many ways, and he was a man of many ideas, particularly those of an unusual or fantastical bent. As a great British eccentric of independent wealth, with a great fuck-off moustache to prove it, he was much given over to the cultivation of whimsical thoughts. The water-burning engine, the perpetual motion machine, the rampant rabbit. But it was for his repeated and vigorous contributions to the field of ethnography that he is most widely known. From the isolated, bare-breasted natives of the jungles of darkest Africa and the Amazon, to the dusky bordellos of the capitals of Europe, to the interior of London's many, many chambermaids, he was a relentless cataloguer and researcher of all that was essentially bootylicious. Sir John Jingo was not just a man of exploration and a man of the empire. He was also a man of peace. It was his sincere belief that all the peoples of the world could be united within 3 generations under the firm and yet entirely and totally reasonable and completely not exploitative in any way rule of the British Empire. By the simple expedient of bedding as many indigenous peoples as possible. To make the socialists' ludicrous dream of a brotherhood of man at least a half-brotherhood. And also, let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, he did quite like fucking as well. His, ladies and gentlemen, was a dream of one world people. The colour of good, milky English tea, united under the Union Jack and conceived under his patient and repetitive ministration. My own conception, as you might expect, was rather divorced from my father's recreational habits. My mother, Lady Mary QC Jingo, was the eldest daughter of noted imperial explorer General Fuck Bastard. And her impassive and icy demeanour was widely acknowledged as the least unappealing of her personality traits. Kleptomaniac, dipsomaniac, and maniac. She was much given to abducting small animals, getting drunk with them, and then putting them into unlicensed Hansen cans. high literature, and a woman who loved pretty fire. The ungenerosity of her heart was counterbalanced by the generosity of her proportions. The corsetry was produced by special order from the shipyards of the Clyde, being about to be named HMS Jingo by the impudent and imprudent alike. She would respond to such unkind remarks first with thrusts of her rapier wit, and then with actual rapiers. She was known throughout society as one of the finest exponents of the art of drawing-room duelling. But she did not save her love of violence to members of her own circle. A woman of prodigious strength and severe views on the class question, she once thrashed an errant chimney sweep so hard that his buttocks were actually inverted. Well-revered parents were first introduced at Lady Mary's coming out ball, a glorious and international affair attended by the ambassadors of the crowned heads of Europe and beyond. My mother's debut into society was marked by the smashing of a champagne bottle against her side. And as she rolled majestically down the rails into the ballroom, all eyes turned. There were the turning Austrians, the turning Russians, there were the turning Japanese. At least I think they were turning Japanese. I really think so. But for the purposes of our tale, the most significant eye to turn was that of my father, Sir John Jingo. Footnote. The intrigue will notice my use of the singular when referring to my father's eye, and will notice that I myself do not enjoy the benefit of a full ocular set. This is due to the mark of the Jingos, a hereditary birthmark the shape of the British Isles, etched by nature across the retina of the eye. Sir John's eye roved across her landscape, taking in the great rolling hills, the deep plunging valleys, the fertile meadows, the oxbow lakes, the lattice work of quiet agricultural hamlets, and the spiked dress cudgel dangling from her wrist, and came to one inescapable conclusion, that he must have her, passionately and immediately singing his flagpole into her in the name of God and country. For she was the challenge, the untamable majesty of nature personified, to be scaled and conquered in an act to vindicate the raw, transcendent power of the human spirit, a soaring pinnacle of achievement and wonder that would echo down the ages and be burned into the history books with the coruscating fire of British indomitability. Sir John knew of the risks. Lady Mary was much like Antarctica, massive, white and totally unexplored by man. A team of Norwegians had mounted an expedition to conquer only the year before, and had failed utterly. Sir John would not just mount an expedition, he would mount Lady Mary herself. He strode manfully across the floor of the ballroom, vaulted her chaperone in a single bound, and announced in a proud, booming voice, "My God, miss, you've got the finest ankles I've ever seen on a white woman." The iceberg was melted, a rush of flustered blood hurried to her cheek. "Sir, spare me your flattery, for you are causing me to flush most pinkly about the face." "With you, miss, as with the globe, it is the pink bits that I find most becoming." And I do not confine that observation to the northern hemisphere. And with that, the die was cast. As their carriage rushed through the night to Sir John's apartments, roving hands were licensed, roving tongues found purchase, and a roving column to rival that of Nelson himself found the white-hot cloven print of woman. And as Lady Mary lay back to think of England, a low, sonorous moan began to escape her lips, and as the carriage rattled through the cobbled streets, this moan began to form itself into a song. Shall thy bones be saved? to publicise my next public lecture, which I'll be doing in the company. Well, you look rather like Mr. Butterfield. Doing in the company of Mr. George Butterfield, who looks a lot like Batman, except he's taller, prettier, thinner. All of these things, and it'll be an improvised adventure, sorry, totally not improvised, totally not based on your suggestions and totally made up on the spot, and that will be on February the 15th at the Green Note, counting just around the corner. If you fancy it, then pester me for a flyer. I think I would like to welcome back to the stage, possibly my favourite Jewess, Miss Hannah.